Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Real Tree, Muddy Outdoors, Frigid Forage, Hoyt Archery, Fuse Accessories, Rocket Broadheads, Scott Archery, Redneck Hunting Blinds, Cabela's, Bloodsport Arrows, Trophy Rock, Yeti Coolers, Non-Typical Wildlife Solutions, Quiet Cat, Deer Grow, Icon Cameras, and Nikon.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. The rut is finally here. We've got an action-packed episode today. My morning hunt is going to be a short one. I've got to climb down in a couple of hours and head off to church. But at the end of the episode, I'll show you basically what we saw this morning and then update you on the conditions that I've been seeing during the rut here. But please enjoy a couple of great hunts from Scott Prucha and Erik Barber.
It's October 29th and we're headed out for our afternoon hunt. We're headed up to a big patch of standing beans. The farmers actually combined all his beans. They're out. So we've got about an 1.5 acre strip that's along this thick cedar brushy draw. This is a spot. There's a couple of deer we might be looking for. We're kind of on the fringe of Old Flat Top. He actually walked right by the redneck mobile blind yesterday morning. We're not gonna chase him tonight. We're gonna go after the decoy 8. There's another big 9 in here, a big frame 9 that is a really cool looking deer. And I'm not exactly sure who he is, but I'd like to see him out here tonight. So we're hoping these deer pour into these beans and get some action tonight. We'll see what happens. Well, we just had a bunch of deer behind us and we couldn't film them because the windows in this thing are too crummy. Once you use a redneck blind, you realize how they really are the Cadillac. They're awesome. Normally I'd be in a tree that we call the stupid tree up here. It got its name years ago when Kurt was down here hunting on a different part of my farm. And he could see this is actually basically the highest spot on the whole farm. And he could see this spot, and he'd said every deer that crossed up here crossed right by that stupid tree. So he says you need a stand in there, and he had a take a couple years later, and I busted my butt to get a stand hung for him, and he never sat in it. So 2 years ago I started using it a little more, and I'm telling you, it's crazy how many deer cross up here. It's kind of an intersection between two big wood plots on this high spot. And it's the closest intersection of timber, so I wish I was in the stupid tree tonight or a redneck blind instead of this thing. The decoy 8 is behind the cedar trees coming up that cove. There's a cove of beans that go down in there. It looks like there's another little buck with him. I can't see him. I can just catch glimpses of his antlers. He's heading up here, though. Don't move. That's him. There you go. right side, right over the top of that one. I can see the branches swinging up there.
Yeah. Get them both on video.
That other buck up on the top watching.
Oh man. Here we go. Come on, buddy.
How are we doing on light?
All right, I'm good.
35 right there.
Yeah.
Right midsection, let him drop into it.
Yeah.
Come on. Ready?
Yeah. Hold on. Yes.
Stand him.
Oh, he's gonna just dip. Yes.
Stay up.
Well, we just hit the ground here. We're in that old blind, and I'm telling you, life would have been a lot easier in a redneck tonight. I saw him, and he just showed up a couple weeks ago on camera. He's a great big tall 9. He's a really pretty deer. Looked like a big body. He got to 35 yards, and I dropped the arrow in. I made a nice shot. I got lucky. I mean, it was perfect. So he runs off. He's standing there. Before he tips over, the other 2 bucks are standing there at the fence line watching him. It was cool. It was pretty neat. We watched the footage back quick. So hey, we actually had 2 coyotes like right on him within 15 minutes of him getting shot. If they were a little closer, I would have launched another arrow. But let's go see what he looks like. Pretty sure that's going to kill him. Beautiful. He's a cool deer. Long tines, but what a cool deer. He just showed up on the farm. One of the last camera pulls a couple weeks ago. I think we even talked about him on the way in today, just saying that he was another deer that was starting to show up here along with that decoy 8 that we almost shot tonight too. I mean, he's just a stud of a deer too, just another tank body deer. I think another thing that helped us actually tonight is, we've been trying to hit these October cold fronts. We've been trying to, do it when the wind's right, as we always do, but these deer weren't pressured. I mean, they were just milling around like not a care in the world tonight. I guess you gotta plan your moments, and I think we did the right thing by not getting in here and pressuring. Once the season gets here, everybody wants to get out there and get after them, but sometimes you're better off just to be patient and wait for the right time. And it sounds like tonight was the right time, and we talked to a couple other people that had good success, and it sounds like Bill almost killed a no-name 10 tonight. The deer were on their feet tonight, and we were lucky enough to be in the right spot at the right time.
It's October 29th, and Zach and I are set up for our first sit in Wisconsin. We're up here for 3 days. It's actually the same spot that Chantel killed her buck last year over that water hole. So, anyways, the plan is this morning, I got some pictures of a few nice bucks that I would definitely shoot up here. First morning sit of the year, and because we're at this water hole, a centralized deer movement area, what my thought is that we're gonna do a little bit of rattling, just some blind calling this morning. Hopefully, some nice buck that's bedded close by is gonna hear that and come check out this area. Deer just hang out here, between all hours of the day. I have pictures of them in daylight, so we're gonna hit the antlers together and hopefully rattle one in right off the bat. Here, look, right there on the ridge, coming down the ridge. Oh yeah, it's a good one. Yep. He's down. He's down. Zach, he's down. Zach. We did it on the first morning. We did it, man. We did it. I can't believe it. We have been in a stand in Wisconsin for half hour. I can't believe it. It's my biggest buck, man. Good work. Well, we settled down a little bit in the tree stand. We're still super excited. That worked out exactly how Zach and I were talking about it this morning. This is a really awesome spot for blind calling. So my thought process was to do some rattling here early in the morning, maybe catch a buck coming back from one of these ag fields, coming back to bed, and they know that deer hang around this area quite a bit. And again, because it's so thick, he couldn't really tell where or what was making the sound. So he got curious, he came in and checked it out. It worked out great. We're gonna get down out of this stand, check out that deer. I can't wait. He is a dandy. Well, we just got down. Got a lighted up blood sport covered in blood over here. We're gonna go check it out. We got a short blood trail. We saw him drop, so let's go take a look. There he is, Zach. There he is. Oh, that's the 9-pointer from last year. Oh, I don't know what to say right now. I am so proud of this deer. I could not be any happier. 4-year-old buck here on a farm that I grew up deer hunting. This means more to me than any other deer I've ever shot. Oh. Well, we got him cleaned up, we got a tag on him, and there were really a few things that made this hunt work out for us this morning. This property is a bedding area, so bucks are working their way from the big ag fields that are off to the east and to the west, and they come back to transition through this thick pine bottom. We were set up over that kiddie pool that I put in just over a year ago. I have a lot of pictures of deer just working that pond during midday hours. Chantel's buck last year, Tippy Brow, he was showing a lot of daylight activity. And this year it's the same thing. And the other thing is after we rattled, he came in about 10 minutes later and he was definitely looking for the sound. And when I grunted at him, that made him stop. It gave him our location. But if you look into this property, it's so thick in the understory, and that helped because this buck did not see what was making the sound. So he came in on a mission and it worked out totally in our favor. This is my biggest buck ever, and I couldn't be happier to fill my Wisconsin tag on a buck that I have a lot of history with, and this is gonna be a hunt that I will never forget.
My morning hunt was pretty uneventful. Did see 3 small bucks out cruising, but there's some good hunting left in the rut. We've got a lot of good hunts stacked up next week. Boy, I know we've got at least 2 really good hunts that we're going to be bringing you. We showed you that video blog a couple of days ago with Chad Lathrop's 220 plus buck that he killed. So we'll have some more footage, some more details. Well, I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.